You are on, Mr. Chairman.
I call to order the Berlin Township Trustees regular meeting for April 28, 2025 to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Rail. Trustee Bullard.
Here.
Trustee Rail is absent.
So that takes us to public comment at this time. It's appropriate for public comment. Any public comment? Hearing none, we will go to fire department. Part-time hiring, Administrator Hill, you have a recommendation?
Recommendation that the chief has submitted to you a list of 7 candidates and recommend them as part-time firefighters for hire this evening.
So the first one is McKenna Van Dyke. I moved, and Fiscal Officer Jordan, do you have a copy of these so I don't have them?
Let me find it. I believe
I think it's in your packet. Oh, well, we'll sign these and you'll get the copy as we go through. So I move that a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely McKenna Van Dyke, and have this incorporated as if read entirely into the minutes.
Okay.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
I move a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely Christopher Kozinski, and having the minutes show the entire resolution as having been read and incorporated into the minutes. Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. I move a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely Alex Johnson, and incorporating the entire resolution into the minutes. Yes. Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. I move a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely Kyle Klein, and having the resolution incorporated into the minutes as having been entirely read.
Sorry.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Does the fiscal officer have a copy so he doesn't have to write this each time?
Yeah, there's a copy in his back.
I mean in the electronically, because
Yes.
he's not going to have to type that up.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I can provide a different format if you need it.
I move a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely Xavier Price, and having the minutes reflect the entirety of the resolution.
Sorry.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
I move a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely Anthony Donato, and incorporating the entire resolution as having been read into the minutes.
Sorry.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. I move a resolution authorizing the hiring of a part-time firefighter for the Berlin Township Fire Department, namely Mateo Salvador, and incorporating the entirety of the resolution as having been read into the minutes.
Sorry.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. Anything else for the, fire department before late items?
Nothing else.
That takes us to roads department. Trustee Board.
Okay, we've got, engineer Doug Wheel here from county engineer's office, here in office with us. We have the road improvement program for 2025, and, the contract we signed is in the amount of $313,092.70. Make a motion that we approve that for the Shelley Company, and, have these rules included through the county engineer, road improvement program. So moved.
Second. Moved by trustee Ford, seconded by the chair. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
just so everyone's aware, if they put the road list in with the documents, the amount on this was the estimate from the engineer's office, and it's more than what the actual contract is for. So this dollar amount is not correct with this 2 pieces of paper.
Right, but this one.
That is correct.
It's always good news for London. That's the man. And I think in the 8 years I've been here and at the county, maybe the second time.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Board.
This one is, look for what I have. With information.
Here, you just want to give him mine?
Okay, that's that one, and then, next item on the agenda is the Hill Ford Road request for engineering assistance. And the quote, and we have a proposal, project estimate from the Dollar County Engineer's Office, from the leader, the amount of $17,917.08. That's the estimate from the REA for that project. We're also going to look at a local vendor to essentially do that, so we can accept that estimate or however we can do that, but I want to get a vendors, for a vendor's, quote on doing the project. Hopefully we can save a little bit of money that way. Do you have any comments on it, or?
Oh, this estimate is based on a new alignment upstream or to the north of, I should say, of 19. I'm gonna get my numbers mixed up. The 1390 Dale Ford Road. 13. Somewhere.
And what we're doing, we're going across the road at an angle, maybe straight across one way we can avoid, messing with the driveway. If we're going straight across the entry on Sheriff's driveway, go across an angle, we can avoid doing that. That's what we're proposing doing. Got a question. This water flow has increased dramatically from what it was before the project was built. Berlin Farms, I believe, right behind the project. And now Berlin Farms, this cross rural supply, or rural supply road is starting to come online. Is that significantly increasing the water flow there? Or are we, I'm trying to get at it, are we going to be looking at an increased flow of that along when that whole thing comes along?
I did not look at the sections to the west of the rural supply extension. I only focused on area between Dale Ford and Wilson Pyatt for, when I did some further checking into this estimate, where the flows are coming from.
So I think all that water is coming this way through this, basically through this and the other flow that's there.
Well, I don't know until I look at that to see how the water from the sections west of Rolls and Pyatt, how those are routed through their basins.
Do you have any comments on this?
I don't think any of the water west, because when they built the road, there was no big culverts put under Rolls and Pyatt. So there's no way for the water to get from west. The only culverts are just drainage ditch culverts, and those were not being near sufficient to hold that. I mean, you'd be needing 36, 48-inch pipes, and there was none of those installed under Rolls and Pyatt to connect all those ponds to run.
And that's all for as long as we don't overflow the ponds and get into that kind of flow situation.
So where does the water drain from?
West all drains towards the railroad tracks and that railroad ditch, because the one was plugged when we was doing the ditch at Tanktown, and that's where it was all heading, was that way.
So does it go all the way up to Juanita's? Well, she doesn't even own it anymore. McCreary's, but they sold it to.
That's on the other side, right? On the other side of,
So but
yes.
you're saying it drains across?
Yes.
Where is it draining?
It's it towards the back. There's a cross pipe behind Tanktown, and it's draining to there in an open ditch once it gets out of the ponds. And it goes under the railroad.
So, back to this. I think needs to be done. I think it's being done the correct way. I have a problem with the Bowling Farms is paying for it.
I do too. And I believe we discussed that in the Berlin Farm zoning hearing and all that. We spent a lot of time on it. It's not a new issue.
I know, and I was mad.
So was
I still am. I don't see how they're not paying for this.
Any comment on that?
Well, when they submitted their stormwater analysis and stormwater report, they looked at the ditch along Dale Ford and the 18-inch pipe that goes underneath the driveway and connects to the catch basin, another 18. And it's just a difference between driveway designs use the lower flow for driveways versus what we would typically require for a culvert that goes under a building. So even though it's adequate under a driveway, if the township looks at it, then we need to go to a higher water discharge, which then bumps the pipe up from an 18-inch to 24 inch. So it's a difficult situation,
But it wasn't a problem before Berlin Farms. Now, if it was before, I agree with you, but because Berlin Farms created the issue, it seems to me that Berlin Farms should pay for it.
well, I'm not entirely convinced that Berlin Farms is creating 100% of the issue.
It wasn't an issue before. And now.
Well, I think there was probably, we don't know what drainage areas went to this culvert than the one further south. That's about 400 feet away. Under the
Well, I've driven
existing
it
conditions.
basically for 62 years, and it wasn't a problem, and now it is. I mean, there's other places in the township that is a problem, but that was one.
I think the one thing you might want to take into account is, with it being a farm field before and was tiled, I think the farmer may have dumped water into a different watershed for ease of convenience for tiling.
But at that time, it was allowed, when it was constructed, and so it wasn't a change of flow, because
It was allowed when it was, but now that soil and water and the drainage.
I understand the argument, I just don't accept it as.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is if it wasn't tiled the way it was and it was left to natural flow, it probably would have been a problem. But since it was tiled and the water was caught and diverted, that saved us from having this problem. I understand what you guys are saying about in my farms. It's essentially created a new problem. But because of the way it was tiled and done before, because they don't look at,
I understand. I still think Berlin Farms should.
which, that's fine. I just was wanting to give a different perspective.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is that we're gonna have to fix it or make sure that it does get fixed. I don't know how to question if we can go back on the builder. Because what the builder did is he changed the way the water was flowing. Maybe it's making it the right way, maybe it's not making it the right way. But, I don't know if we have a way to go back against the builder or not.
And I think Miley's and I can get it done quite a bit less.
I'm not questioning the estimates, and that sort of thing, I'm just questioning the bond we're having to do.
Right. So, do you need to take action on this item tonight? Do you want to take action on this item tonight?
No, I don't know who to take it to. You ever run into this kind of situation before?
Not in a case exactly like this. I mean, there's been other areas where there's been concern as far as, what the runoff is, post-development. But our standard requires them to retain that water in that pond, and then even at what we call our 100-year storm, they're releasing at a lower rate. So in other words, the volume of water coming out of there is going to be the same. It's just that we're slowing it down, and it's coming out instead of this peak of water coming and flowing out. We're pressing that volume down and making it go in there longer. So I think, the issue that you see that water kind of standing in that ditch between their outlet and the driveway, that is, I think, just a condition of the flatness of the ditch and the amount of water that's coming in there over a longer
Well,
amount of time.
I would say that it's coming in slower for a period of time, but it comes in much faster if it hits a certain stage of rainfall because of the way they designed it with the pipe inside of the pipe. What's your recommendation?
Right now, I'm not recommending to do anything until we get the other contractors and stuff. And that's one we'll make it go forward on. What I can do is try to answer questions and see if we can figure out whether there is a way to go back and build it. Because what's happened is, we didn't used to have a fall, now we have a fall. And that's the concern that we got. And the one solution, the solution of rural, townships got that, but the townships didn't get it, they have a fall until the fall. And then the other development coming across is going to be, I know it's going to go a lot longer flow time, but that's just asking, is that going to add to this whole issue?
Well, after Jess's comment, I do remember now looking at Rolson Pipe north of Peanut Roundabout at Berlin Station this winter. And there are no pipes that cross underneath Rolson Pipe that goes from the west to the east, at least in this area. And, we can confirm that, but,
When you say not in this area, you're talking about very north.
all the way where the road stops currently, yes, to the north end.
Where I had concerns about before, but apparently it's been somewhat mitigated.
We don't have any ground cover or anything breaking the flow like it was before. So we're gonna wait for the water to flow like it's going to flow out. And the question is that gonna work? That's the question.
I think it will work if we put the 24-inch in, clean up what is there. So if the 24 ever gets full, you still have overflow going across the driveway to that catch basin. So you're still going to have 12 inches, 18 inches of water flow that you can use. And I would leave that old pipe there because there's nothing wrong with it. So that if the other pipe was overwhelmed, you would have an outlet that would not you would keep it from coming on the road. So I think between those two, we should never have, and if we have an issue there, there's going to be other things we need to worry about looking at.
Yes, then it would be beyond what we would design for the amount of rain coming in a 24-hour period. So, yeah, I agree. Our intent is to try and make that 24-inch pipe get all, pretty much the low flow situations or catch most of the water. And then once it exceeds that, then it'll go up into the ditch and then down under the dry pipe and into the existing. Exactly, yes.
So we'll actually have an additional 24-inch pipe across the road that we don't have now.
Correct. We're adding 24 inches of flow.
But that's still going to get back to the plan. As a developer, it didn't used to be a problem, it's now a problem, so. I'll ask the questions, so now what we try to keep it on the agenda. And then hopefully we'll have another quote to go with that. Okay, and then requisition. First requisition is April expenses. And a large expense there that even cost us to, it exceeds the normal $2,000. And I had talked with Jesse about this, and I would fund with the money that I could use, so it would be okay from that standpoint. These are expenses from April.
So, move to approve $2,543.38.
Correct. Motion to,
Should we move in? I'll second.
okay,
Discussion? Please call roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Buller.
yeah. Okay, next one is, an estimate for a proposal to remove the fuel tanks and install fuel tanks on the fire station, which we've been talking about. And it's a requisition for $7,128 with the expected cost being $6,480. Comment on that is, we started into this, at the time, we were talking about putting a building out here with a tank this, moving this down to the fire station. Still the right thing to do with or without the building going out here, because, most of the fuel is used down there, not here.
So is it being placed that it's not going to be in the way of any possible building down there in the future?
It's gonna be placed right where the app was put in at the time.
It's going to be tight, but we'll make it, it's going to be tight if we expand the salt shed, but it's not going to be out of, you just won't be able to load salt and load fuel at the same time. If you got a truck, if the fire department's there getting fuel and we expand the salt shed, we have to wait on them to move to load salt. But it's not that, we can't go any other direction because either we have to do a whole completely new pad and electric, or we have to move fire hydrant. We really have no other.
The other thing we could do is some longer hoses. Have some longer hoses available to allow us to get to a second truck. Does that answer your question? Okay. With that, I make a motion that we approve, requisition number 04-04 in the amount of $6,120 excavated. So moved.
Second. Moved by trustee Moore, second by the chair, discussion, call roll.
Trustee Moore,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
Okay, the next one is, okay, that concludes everything else to go. Any comments on the truck for the
Trucks ordered, the truck should be here end of August, and then we'll have to do the paperwork to extend when the warranty starts, because I have paperwork, so the warranty doesn't start till it's actually in service for us. So as soon as the truck comes, I'll bring that paperwork forward for someone to approve. And then the bed is looking around right before Thanksgiving, so we're looking at late December, early January as it sits right now for the truck to be in service.
And we also said that we needed to pay for the truck bed and all of that,
He hasn't asked me yet.
and, when are we gonna get it? Any idea when that?
He said he's only going to charge us or have us pay ahead if the manufacturer wants us to pay ahead, and right now they're not asking for it. I imagine if stainless and some of these tariffs go into effect, that will become more of an issue.
I'd rather just go ahead and pay, because they may say, oh, sorry about your luck, I don't want that, I want to go ahead and pay it, that's mine.
So do you want to do like 90 or 80% and keep 10 for final, or do you want to pay the whole amount?
What is it that they required previously, what did they say was going to be required?
Just the cost of the truck bed. That's the only thing the truck bed and the pump is the only thing that's coming from out of country.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is to pay for those things.
Okay.
And, you know, that's engineering, not.
Right.
That's right, but they might. And I'm more worried that the items don't come, and I want to pay for it so that we've got
Okay.
Do we need to do anything to make that payment ahead?
I think we already did the PO, didn't we?
I have not done a PO. We have not done a PO. We need to do the PO for it. I was going to talk to you about this for next meeting. We need to do the PO for it and both vehicles.
I thought we approved.
We did, but you guys need to sign the PO.
well, sign it, but we've approved it, so
Yes.
we can sign.
Yes.
They just need to be done.
I got the POs for the truck. I just need the POs for the truck bed to Dexter.
Could sworn I did both.
You did the trucks, but not Dexter. The truck and the car you did, just not Dexter.
Two separate things, one is extra, one is.
Wires. Buyers, we did both. We just need one for Dexter.
Okay, so I should go ahead and do the Dexter, purchase order.
Yeah. Yes, it's approved and appropriated. It just needs signed.
And the truck price and the car price are both,
They're locked in.
they're locked in, we don't have to worry about that.
Correct.
Dexter Company, 102-2025, $42,130.
Yes.
That's done.
I don't have a copy of it.
Okay.
Can you find out from Dexter what the amount or what the break is?
Mhm.
If we get that for next meeting, we'll.
You can just,
Might be on your shelf,
in there, I just,
signature shelf.
oh, okay, it might be on the shelf. Okay. So it might be on something you guys have already signed in. I just don't have it yet.
It's waiting, probably waiting, trustee Rail's signature.
Well, if it's got two, I'm gonna take it.
So that takes us to cemetery?
No, let's just ask, look, do you have anything? You were talking about the payment for the trail. Shanahan.
Yes, yeah.
Did you have any comments on that or anything?
Well, we've had some conversations between our office and Roster's office. I don't know we have not heard back yet on some discussions we've had as far as how Berlin Township can pay for their share of the path that's actually outside our township.
I believe we received, word from the prosecutor's office that we can make that payment. Do you want to make that payment at this point, or how should we?
When does it need to be done?
The payment would need to be, done as soon as, well, the agreement has some wording, some language in it as far as when that payment is needed. Basically, it's gonna be required about the time that we let the contractor, just before that for the project. It's just that we've asked, both townships to amend the cooperative agreement to include language about the path and how it's gonna get, who's gonna pay and how it's going, and when it's gonna get paid.
So reasonably bring that forward next meeting for approval and signature.
So I know that sometimes OPWC monies can be, if not everybody asks for the loan portion, that you can amend it in order to get for that. Do you know, did they apply for all of the loans?
We did not apply for a loan.
No. Did all the applications for loans exceed the amount available?
I don't know the answer to that.
So if you could try that out, because we could maybe amend it, and that might even give us more points.
Well, the grants are, the OPWC application grant has already been approved to go forth by the integrated community district to go to the state for approval on July 1st.
Okay, so the only thing we're waiting for is to make sure that the issue 2 passes, or is it?
Those funds are our committed cap
Oh,
for this year. It's just that issue 2 needs to pass so that our applications this fall, early in next year's, can actually get funded.
I was confused.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then obviously we can't amend it because it's already been approved. But that's a good thing.
It's great, yeah.
Okay.
And I think the paperwork should be coming from the county engineer's office, right? So can you, Trent, can you guys work together? We can have that at the next meeting, I think we can take care of it.
Yes. Yes.
And just a general comment, what's the schedule for it? Assuming the OPWC grant comes through.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're still in engineering design phase. After that, then we start the right of way acquisition, utility relocation. So, optimistically, we're looking at late 26, early 27 for construction to start.
So would it be done during summer break next summer, like 27, 26?
No, we're still probably going to be in right of way negotiation and utility relocation in
So you-
26. We could start in the fall of 27 if things go well with those two.
I thought that the OPWC grant required it to be, that it would start in 26.
You have up to 3 years from the time the grant's awarded to start construction.
Is that your understanding?
That's why I'm asking questions. I'm trying to figure out where we're at.
We like to start them the
I
year
thought it
or
was
the next.
required.
It's not, it's just, if you don't start this project and you apply for something else, then your application for your next project, if this one isn't finished, gets points deducted. So,
And so you were saying the work will be done for the road work closer than 8/28?
our hope is that we try to finish it in 27. Yeah.
But I thought I understood you said you were gonna start fall of 27. right?
Fall of 26,
Fall of 27.
if things are perfect, which
Okay, so-
likely aren't.
So the road will be down during school, normal school.
How we've got it right now is we're maintaining, eastbound traffic one way
Mhm.
and then detour northbound traffic. So we're trying to
Kind
address,
of like what was out there.
yes, trying to address getting folks into the school. The buses do come from 23 a lot of times, so it's the best we can do on that road. try and
Okay.
keep it this.
Buses come from both ways, because
We can't maintain both ways, so either we maintain one way or we close them
so
down.
when is the official transfer date of Shannon?
It's already done.
So it's listed as the county road.
It is officially county road as of first one.
I thought that was just when we were taking, over the maintenance, but not actual taking it. I thought there was, contingency regarding OPWC.
I'd have to check the wording on that. I think we may be talking semantics as far as, is it a county road or a township road right now? But we have taken on maintenance as the 1st of
Well,
January.
I knew that, but I didn't know if the commissioners had actually.
I think I'll have to check that. I'm not sure if, in my mind, it's a county road right now, whether it says it is on a sign or not. It's ours to maintain at this point.
Oh, I know that,
Yeah.
Which is what brought the road as far as the question that I had, which was, we're putting a path and on a county road, not a township.
I understand, but I thought it was still a township road. in-
I can look into that.
Okay, because it does make a difference in regard to funds.
Okay, that's all I got. Unless you got something else.
No.
Okay, back to you.
Okay, so that takes us cemetery.
Back to me. Okay. First thing is counter repairs. The blooming trees that we got out here are counter repairs, or commonly known as
Bradford.
yeah,
Bradford pears.
fallen trees. And that's determined to be a invasive species, and the guidance from the government is they're not for sale anymore from the nurseries or that sort of thing, and you're not supposed to plant them. And you can keep trees that you have, which is what we've got. And those haven't been in very long, if you remember, because we took out the other fallen trees. And those look very good this spring and all that sort of stuff. The recommendation is to keep those. But if they suddenly start spreading, we're supposed to mow and get rid of the spreading trees. And that's the plan. So just put that on there so that if there's any questions from residents about are we getting rid of the Bradford pears or not, it's no plan to get rid of the pear trees past this point. But if they do propagate, then the propagation trees will get rid of them. These are plants.
And if they die, then we cannot replace them.
That's correct. You have to replace those some of those species. But they were beautiful,
That's all.
really on. Next one is evergreen request for engineering assistance. We got an REA, which is to ask the county engineer to request that the county engineer locate the pins at the corners so that when we plant the trees that we're going to plant over there, to put up the fences, we know that we're putting them on our property, not somebody else's property. So with that, make a motion that we approve the request for engineering assistance for Evergreen Cemetery to locate all property plans of Evergreen Cemetery and to locate property lines for maintenance and future work as required by Berlin Township. So moved.
Second, moved by trustee Ward, seconded by,
Can you authorize Aubrey to do anything that's needed with it since she's the administrator? Do you guys want to do it as a friendly amendment?
well, before we get to that, what need to be authorized?
Do you want her to do it or do you guys want?
Oh, we can decide.
Okay.
I second. So moved by trustee Ward, seconded by, the chair, discussion, just call roll. Trustee Bullard.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien. Yes. We're gonna make a copy, take one.
Yeah.
To them tomorrow. I'll scan it.
Look at it.
I'll scan it.
Thanks, man.
Okay, and then we've got a Purchase requisition C04-02, 10 yards of concrete on pencil rails will be used for the annual headstone foundation for Cheshire Cemetery. So moved.
Second. Motion by trustee Bullard, seconded by the chair. Discussion. Please call roll.
Trustee Bullard?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Any other items regarding?
We've got a request from, a owner of a couple of lots at Evergreen Cemetery to turn those lots back to the township, turn them over to the township. With, no money transfer hands, we're not gonna buy them or anything else. What it is the, people asked the question of, can the township take the lots back? And we said that they can open for state law after a period of time, and the family at that point, we have to take care of it. These folks said they didn't want the family to be good for that. We'll do what we do, is turn the lot back over.
So that's your recommendation.
That's my recommendation, and we just gotta get a form created by, prosecutors and work our way through making that transfer back.
Makes
And
sense.
that makes perfect sense for anybody that's got it, and it takes the weight off of their descendants years from now.
Thank you. Anything else for zoning? No. Cemetery, that's all. Anything else for cemetery? Zoning. No items for zoning, that takes us to fiscal, administrative.
There was a request from the board last time, when looking at the organizational minutes, they conflict with the per diem amount that is provided in the IAFF contract, which is $50 versus the organizational minutes say $35. So recommendation to replace that with 50 to keep it consistent across all of our policies.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve the change from $35 to $50 per diem.
Okay. I'll second that.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes. That takes us to fiscal officer items. Pavement lists.
Give me a second to catch up here, please.
See you tomorrow.
So I move that we approve the positive pay file report of April 25th, 2025, 5:19 p.m. Warrants number 32794 through 32818 for an amount of $20,584.63. Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion. Please call roll.
Trustee Bullard?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
I did submit, electronic payments. Assistant fiscal officer position description and appropriation for posting.
The assistant to the fiscal officer description has been approved by our legal counsel. It is back with his incorporated changes before you this evening, and would also request appropriation by the board in the amount of $500 to post on Indeed.
So are you wanting us to approve the assistant to the fiscal officer job description?
Yes.
Want to make a motion?
So moved.
I second. This moved by trustee Bullard, seconded by the chair. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Trustee Bullard?
Yes.
And so appropriation of $500 to Indeed.
Yes.
I move that we approve appropriation of $500 to Indeed for advertising of township employment.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard, discussion. Please call roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes. That takes us to health insurance renewal.
Yes, before you this evening, we have the proposed health insurance renewal for the township beginning May 1st. So we would request action this evening. The recommendation that I'm bringing for you is to stay with the current health plan at an increase of 19.91%. Ultimately, going out to the market, our consultant evaluated a number of options and this came back the most favorable.
So I move, even though it's expensive, I move to approve the township administrator Hale's recommendation for the Anthem Meanwhile health insurance renewal for 2025. Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard, discussion. Please call roll.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
Anything else for fiscal office?
other than I did today, with assistance from, Ms. Smith, Claudia Smith, did get the ARPA annual report submitted. We found that we're gonna end up owing $1,651, and some change, because what ended up happening was they gave us in two pieces that much more than we thought we got, and we didn't spend it. So we're gonna end up, the total amount was something like 829,000, and we thought we got 827 and change.
So, the paperwork that the federal government puts out is lengthy, confusing, and I understand how that happened. I'm actually pleased though that we got $820-some thousand that we had not planned on. And so, and I thank the fiscal office for completing those tasks. Any other items for fiscal officer?
That's got it, thank you.
Thank you. That takes us to trustee items, appropriation for IT migration.
Yes, the first one is the vendor is Presidio. This is a backup for all of the Microsoft 365 accounts that would be coming online as a result of the county's IT migration. This will ensure email backup. Microsoft does not automatically do that, so this is the county recommending that we do that so we can ensure that our information is secure.
I move that we approve an appropriation of $1,980.99 to Presidio Network Solution Group LLC for backup to Microsoft 365 with an expected cost of $1,800. Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard, discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
The next one is for Cortex XDR, and this is related to multi-factor authentication. This covers 20 workstations, so anyone who has a computer and a physical workstation, either here or at the fire department, this would ensure protection. Multi-factor authentication is now becoming the industry standard, and this would allow us to institute that. I believe it's a requirement for the county.
So, the vendor is actually secure with us, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I move that we approve appropriation of $1,350 to the payroll guy consulting LLC for Cortex XDR Prevent with an expected cost of $1,230. Moved by chair, seconded by trustee Bullard, discussion, please call roll.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes. And I do want to thank you for putting all the heartbeats in that. I'm taking over your phrase all because we get it done. So
We're working on it.
thank you. That takes us to House Bill 315, and that is really specifically addressing the notice of meetings, correct?
the newspaper notices that House Bill 315 takes into account. Don't have a resolution before you this evening, but it is my understanding, it is the board's intent to follow the provision in House Bill 315 in the revised code that allows us to use the website and our social media account to advertise notice of public hearings. And if that is the board's intent, I will bring back forward a resolution next time.
So that is my intent, is that your intent?
Mhm.
So we have consensus of the board? We have consensus of the board.
All right, I will bring that forward next time.
Thank you. Hours and hours purchase order.
Fiscal Officer Jordan, can you speak to this?
I could have. I believe what we've got is that we have a bill from them for 6,000. I'd have to look again. I'm sorry.
So,
6,000, and I think we've got like 2,000 left in that purchase order.
It's actually important in regards to hours and hours to have a file set up for each of the cases they're working on, because we can recover our expenses for various ones, specifically regarding the JED and the tips. So if they are working on a specific JED, that is a cost that we can recover from. Same thing with the tip. So we need to have a file for each thing that they're working on so that we can actually recover that. So also in regards to that, and I'm going to take personal privilege on this. Where are we on the JED and the having them apply for
The hearing will be May 12th. So
Shawnee Hills or others?
ours will be May 12th,
Okay.
and representatives from Albers and Albers will be present. It has already gone to the Gazette to be noticed, and so we are in that 30-day window. And then the hearing will be on the 12th, and then I believe the application comes after that, but I can confirm that for you.
I appreciate that, thank you. Related but not really. Has advertising been noticed of our tip? So
I
that,
can ask about
so
that.
that, I mean, because he has to schedule a meeting, and trustees, the way it's written, I believe all three trustees have to show up for that. And he chairs that.
I can look into that.
Can we move forward with that at the next meeting?
Which piece?
The approval? Or do we need to do anything? You were saying all three trustees will have all trustees at the next meeting.
So we are sort of kind of at the pleasure of the auditor, Auditor Kaiser. So when he calls the meetings, we'll have to go.
Gotcha.
And usually he schedules those meetings in May.
I will reach out to the auditor's office and ask.
Could we encourage George to do that as quickly as possible? Because I'd like to get it done. With the board.
I do not know, but I will look into it.
Okay, so I move that we approve of appropriation to office of $5,000 for regarding jets and tips.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Bullard. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
and the chair moved.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have any other trustee? Okay, that takes us to old business. Seeing none, that takes us to future meetings.
The state of Calgary meeting tomorrow. have a PWC, or not PWC, Morpsey meeting, in May, it would be May 8th. And there's a special session before the normal commission meeting. And the special session, Washington is talking about housing crisis. And it's, Morpsey's getting involved in workforce housing, the affordable housing, that sort of thing, try to alleviate some of the housing crunch crisis that we got going on. I was planning to attend that meeting, but just want to let you know that that meeting is going on and that Morpsey is involved.
Thank you for the update on that.
Understand.
And I will, of course, also be attending the state. I think there's also a Chamber of Commerce,
May 15th.
May 15th, and I will be attending that too. We approved up to 3 times for us, and you're approved for all of them.
Okay.
You said May 15th? Thank you. So if you can kind of check to the, if you don't mind getting the.
For
numbers
both
to-
of us, I'll just have it double.
Okay.
I'll make sure it covers both.
Unless you want to go to. And I doubt that, Trustee Riddle will, I mean, that's when she works, so I doubt that she'll be in attendance. Okay, any other items, for, future meetings, late items?
One late item, if you could pass this down, I have 3 copies. Today, the fire department took engine 391 to WW Williams for some transmission work. You'll see here a fluid leak, seal leak, and a little bit of other transmission work for an amount of $2,148.60, like approval to have that work done.
So I move approval of $2,363.46 to WW Williams for, engine 391 transmission work to be expected cost of $2,148.60.
Fiscal Officer Jordan, would you mind creating a PO for that so we can get that work done as soon as possible?
Yes.
Thank you.
So moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Fuller. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien. Yes. Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
So I did notice, the, Berlin Township Fire Department bill. So, do you have that before you?
Yes.
So the, bond portion are the ones that we have already approved.
Yes.
And it's just the $817 that were the ancillary that they're just, so, since it's past the month, they don't really need that recharge. But in the future, if you could do that in, so that we could likely do for roads, because his, spending limit comes down, what's available to him, unless we charge it like we do for roads.
Okay.
Now, he doesn't have to do that, but if he wants to have as much spending capability in that month.
Okay.
But I do appreciate having this because, I like being able to tell the public I know exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. Do you have any data?
Just that the fire station, or the fire station, we're looking for the building, and we've got one that we should have relative, and I hope to, at the next meeting, be able to bring that, and hopefully we'll move forward on
So, and if we can also discuss at that time, the future of buildings in general, which could turn into buildings in general, the fire station, this building, the future, that could turn into a lengthy discussion, but I think it's appropriate to have when we're talking about constructing the building. Any other late items? We do have an item, that is,
Could I ask you if you have any questions, people let us know ahead of time? We'll try to get an answer for you. If it's something that requires outside information, we'll try to get that.
thinking about buildings. Well, the question that I guess I would have is, well, first of all, is it here or is it down there?
Is to move line down at the other station.
So
Next is salt shed.
so if there's expansion, is it portable, I guess is really the question. Can be taken down and used elsewhere? Not that it's free, obviously, but is it constructed in such a way that it wouldn't impede growth?
No, it's not, it's, we're looking at building basically a pole barn. And it will be, poles will be buried around, to build a building. It could be taken down, could be put up somewhere else, but it's not, we're not trying to do that.
Okay. So that's why I think we need to have a discussion about buildings in general. I'm not saying I'm for it or opposed to it, but I think we need to have a discussion for what makes it important to. So we do have a 6:45. I would recommend that we take a 5-minute recess, give or take, subject to the call of the chair, so that if he arrives, we can start, and if he doesn't, we'll start when he gets here.
Okay.
So without objection, we are recessed for 5 minutes, give or take, subject to the call of the chair. Hearing no objection, we are recessed.
Thank you for coming, Bob.
Oh, you're welcome, sure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay, I move, no, I call back. Yes, I call back to order the regular meeting. So we're back in session. So the next item is pending and imminent litigation. 122.122. I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of pending and imminent litigation regarding Tower Co. RC 122.21G3 pending or imminent litigation. And those invited in are all the elected officials, Chris Reinhardt and Administrator Hill. Moved by Chair, seconded by Trustee Fuller. Discussion, please call the roll.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Fuller.
Yes.
We are in executive session.
Return to regular session from executive session. So moved.
Second, moved by trustee Brewer, seconded by the chair. Discussion, please call roll.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Ryan.
Yes, we are in a regular session. We did meet in executive sessions, and no actions were taken, no decisions were made. At this time, it is 7 o'clock, we have a time certain. I call to order BCC case 16-001, number 4, PRD and PCD amendment and rezoning. If there are no objections, this is the way we'll proceed. We'll start with the applicant. After the applicant has made a presentation, the board will make discussions and questions. Then we'll open it to the public, first to those who are in favor, then to those who are in opposition. The chair will limit the debate. Hearing no objections, so ordered.
Okay. We brought this forward, but as we all met last time, and we have the package that we agreed to at the trustees meeting, and as we discussed,
Now, what did we agree to?
the PCD and the boundary, and then you said, we turned it back and you said, look, here's what, we wrote all the stuff on the package. You said, if you take this back as a major to go to the zoning and nothing changes when it comes back to us, we'll be okay with it. And so here we are in zoning. We went to the zoning group. They were fine with it. They understood. And they actually said, I think what we all said, which is this really helps us plan that as a better walkable community. And nothing's changed from the package that we initialed with you guys. So, here we are. That's it. We haven't, like I said, we didn't change anything with the zoning commission voted unanimously, I think, on it, and said, okay, we're bringing it back to you as requested with no changes from what you guys voted on last time.
Well, we voted on it being a major.
Right.
We didn't vote on it then. So is that the conclusion of your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so, as was at the RBC, the question was, why the 0.4 acres has to be separated from 11.6 or 10.6 acres?
0.4 versus 0.6.
So you're segregating the, this amount of PRD.
Existing PRD, BCD.
So that's so nothing's changed with the acreage. So it's the same acreage
But it's not
that
contiguous.
was on. What's not contiguous?
The 0.4 with the 10.6.
Well, it's contiguous to our PRD, the residential PRD right here.
So what my understanding
That's
was that it was going to be the same amount, just moved forward, but it's not all being moved over. So this is either being added to this, because it's no longer with what was down here. So you're not going to be able to build anything on the 0.4. So it sounds like you're going to
Right.
make this be green space for clear over here. And so
No, that's where this property line on this side.
yeah,
This property line on the east side of the planned commercial district. Yes, east side of the new planned commercial district, which again was the same acreage. is where Evans Farm Drive comes up, and that road comes here. And remember, we're alley loading those lots right here that face that PCD. So obviously there's a 0.4 acres that's to the east where that road's gonna be. So we won't be building on that. That will be where the road goes, right
So
through
why
there.
don't you make that the PCD? And put the
Well,
point
because-
four with this up here.
Oh, you mean add more 0.4 up to the
It's
side
contiguous.
and then add PCD into here?
Well, now that one already is, right?
Right, it's the same, gonna be the same acreage, so you're saying just shift the PCD over where this 0.4 acres and then pick up 0.4 acres more of this
Does
PCD.
that make sense to you?
Keeping it together makes sense.
Which is what,
What I was saying.
well, we're squaring it off either way, I'm not sure. I'm not sure of. Yeah, let me see the map you got. Yeah, I think what they wanted to do is line up, make sure that road, when it came through from Evans Farm Drive. And so picking up more PCD ground here shifts it into the middle of the road, which is fine. I mean, but where would we move it over here? I mean, it just, either way, it's contiguous to residential and it's residential. So I think that was all part of us discussing where the road's gonna go, and they tried to line up the roads where they were gonna be.
Why is this road as it is? What is it connecting to up here?
That is Holiday.
Well, but no, what is this connecting to? Is it going, extending beyond?
Connects to Hollenbeck. Connects to Hollenbeck.
Does it extend beyond Hollenbeck?
I don't think it does.
So why is it shaped like that? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, because it lines up, skirts the side, Evans Farm Drive skirts the side of the commercial on this side, and then ends into Hollenbeck here. Here's the school.
It's a road, it's not. It goes to there.
Yeah.
That's basically where we're going.
So I don't understand the shape.
What do you mean, the shape of the road? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because how are you gonna make this commercial with a acute angle?
Well, we don't, you know, I like the idea that it moves a little. And we're gonna have, you know, areas where green space and things, we've got still have the planning commercial. The whole idea was just to realign and make sure that we had the same acreage and that it was, took into consideration that this PCD was going to be, I'm not sure if there's any.
Is there some reason why the road's curved other than just so that it doesn't look straight?
Well,
That's all. It could go like that, but it just went. These two here give you 11 acres, right?
I guess I'm trying to figure out where,
So if you take this 4/10 of an acre here, where you gonna put it?
well, there's gonna be a road on it, so it's gonna be, it's residential ground that'll be eaten up by the road, because the road is there.
So this isn't changing.
No,
I still don't understand why that's broke off, I guess is what I'm saying. there some?
I guess because of the old, okay, let me think. So this is the old outline that shows where it used to be, right?
Mhm.
Where this road was gonna come over and go to Holopack. This is Evans Farm Drive.
So you take the 10.6 here, and this becomes 11. So what you're saying is that you're taking this 400 here off of there and adding it into the 11. Is that right?
Area B2, 0.4 acres to PCD to PRD.
So this is.
Probably because what they did, the engineers, what they did is they lined up the road as it comes up to meet where it was before. Because that,
Well, this 10.6 acres suddenly becomes 11 acres here, and taking this off.
so they added to here.
No, it's 10.6 acres here now. This is the existing here, and you're taking this 4/10 of an acre, 4/10 of an acre off of here. So if you take this 10.6, which is there, it's going to PCD on PRD.
So none of the acreage from the standpoint of acreage from the overall PRD versus the PCD has changed.
This stuff is all moving to here. Is that right?
The PCD, this stuff right here
This is the PCD, which was here.
is,
So the gold is going to the,
well, some of it was,
Parkway. And
so some of it in the old, and I'm sorry, do you have the package that we circled and put the things on before? Because as you can see, this was the old, right? So,
And what you're doing is you're trading that green PRD.
yeah, these green,
This,
those, that, and that, and that.
PRD, and that is 11 acres. I take these two and add them together.
11, okay, that's where I'm
And
sorry.
so you got 10.6 here.
Mhm.
So you don't have 11 acres that you're trading. What you-
No, we're not
How you
trading.
get to the 11 acres, is you take this off here and put it in there.
And put it onto this side.
And then this is gonna be PRD, which is, this is remaining PRD. Actually, the new one's gonna be the same PRD.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So versus shifting, they could have,
The-
they could have done this and made the road
so
go.
I understand what they did, but are you saying, does it make sense to deliver one?
All I'm saying is that this part, which was in the roadway, suddenly becomes part of that.
Yeah.
Well, what they're doing is taking what was PCD and making it PR,
This is becoming PRD.
and this is becoming PR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're
that's
changing
10.4. That 4/10 and this 10.6, which makes 11 acres, which is what that.
Yeah, so I understand what they did, but why would you separate 0.4 acres from the rest of the?
Because this,
I understand to get 11, but I'm saying to make sense, I don't think this should be green space for that.
It's not,
well, this is green space here. now.
it's not, it's, so the 11 acres got traded, right? So we've got the same acreage total. When this line got drawn,
I understand what happened.
right,
But I'm saying that it doesn't make sense, because if it's not green space for this, then it's green space for this. And if it's green space for this, it is not a trade for 11 for 11. It's 10.6 for that, and this for this.
well, we're not trading.
I don't think we're trading green space.
Yeah, we're not trading anything, we're, because of the alignment of the road, this 0.4 acres that was PCD, and add that to that, and there's your 11, and this to that, so we're just making the configuration 11 for 11.
An island of 0.4 acres.
How is it?
No, that's not an island, that's where the road's gonna go.
Yeah, Yeah, but I'm saying that it's not a trade of 11 for 11. It's a trade for 11 for 10.6 and 0.4.
Correct.
which is 11.
And this is roadway here, which is,
So then if it doesn't make it any matter, then keep it PCD and keep the 11 with it 11, the 10.6, make it 11. Move this to either here or wherever they want, but it would have to come from the pink.
where they gotta move it now, is this has to move into here or here.
No, it's already this, it's already pink.
So you,
So if you're going to make it gold, it should be gold in another part of the pink where it's contiguous to this.
Well, you need to take out a little corner here.
so what you would,
Well, you wouldn't do here.
so what I think Ken's saying is, I'm not sure that it makes any difference, but take that 0.4 acres and instead of make it commercial.
Not make it already.
Or already it is, leave it the way it is, and then put the 0.4 acres over here.
Well, on the pink one, otherwise you're not making it 11.
Well, on this part.
Well, you already have that, you would have to be on the pink touching that.
Oh, eat up some more of this ground that's commercial with residential here and bring the commercial here where we're
Not
gonna
bring
put the road. Keep it where we're gonna bring the road. I don't think it matters to anybody, but other than going through more, surveying, and things like that.
The way I read it is you take that off. And then this plus this equals this.
Yes, that's correct. Now, I'm saying what I want, what do you think is right, not what you want?
I think it's okay. I think it's worth doing this, we're taking that off of there, because this road is gonna be PRD or PCD over here. All this can be
Right.
PCD. And this, this piece here goes into there. Otherwise, someplace along here, you gotta find 400ths of an acre to equal 10.6.
So,
So, let me think about that. So it doesn't show whether this 0.4 acre,
square feet, about 20,000 square feet.
so whether this 0.4 acres is here with this residential or here with this residential.
1% would be 400. 1% would be 400, so
440.
Hmm.
440. And then 40 times 4 by 4.
well, it's 40,400, so it's 40,000. 10% or 1% of 40,000
40,000, but 44,000.
would be 400 feet.
440.
440 feet, and 4/10 of that would be 100 square feet. That's all we're talking about.
No, it'd be 4 times, it'd be 40 times 1%. And you're doing hundreds, not tenths.
40,400, my logic is 40,400. Anyhow, 40,000 square feet, 1% of that is 400 square feet.
That's 1%, but this is 40%.
This is 4/10 of 1%.
No, it's 4/10 of 1.
4/10 of an acre.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be 40 times 1%.
4/10 of that.
No, do 4/10 of an acre.
Maybe I missed something. those concerts, I can't remember, 20 square feet, I think it was 44,000.
$17,424 square feet. Can I ask you a question, Ken?
I'm confused at what we're doing, or why we think.
Because I was under the understanding that you were going to move 11 acres over here, but you moved 10.6.
So this has gone through RPC and everything and approved.
Well, at RPC, you didn't answer the question. There was no one there to answer the question.
Didn't we have somebody at RPC?
They didn't speak to Evans Farm on this. They spoke to Evans Farm in Orange Township.
Okay, so,
Because if you look at the minutes, I asked the question. It wasn't answered.
no, either way, it's gonna be a road over it, so I'm not sure what we're gaining or what we're losing. Or what the reasoning is, other than, I just,
Well, and I would say the same thing. Why did you come with this when you said you were going to come with 11 acres? But back to, just go, let me just turn it over to you. Do you have questions?
and again, it is 11 acres, I don't.
That's almost half an acre.
So let me ask this question. So, let me see. Do we want to put a road on top of half an acre of residential ground? Or do we want to put a road on a half of acre commercial ground? And other than commercial ground,
Technically, the road won't be yours.
right, now I'm just trying to think from a standpoint of tax base on the commercial side for the township's probably better to keep.
It's all the same because it's 11 acres. The question is really the zoning and the use.
Right. It's zoned, it's gonna be used for residential right here, which is gonna be road over, as you can see. And it's gonna be zoned for residential, so the 11 acres is used for residential, and the 11 acres that we switched is used for planned commercial.
I just don't know why you came to this. Because you're saying it doesn't matter, and so if it doesn't matter, it seems to only make sense to me that 11 acres stay together.
Yeah, and when we look at this, you know, then they have the acreage and stuff, they didn't obviously.
The little corner you got down there. at Hollenbeck and, Pike,
Here,
no,
Okay.
Hollenbeck, right there.
right here.
You're showing that all. Was that the half acre? When they drew that? 'Cause
Let me-
this is different from that.
Yeah. No, and that's the
Because
bigger
they're
plan.
all-
When did this get submitted?
Because no idea.
Because remember when we went through the last
March
meeting?
3rd, right? So sometime after March 3rd.
And let me see what we all agreed to when we were here last, that package that we circled and looked at. Because we obviously didn't pick up on that, and
I don't have that.
What I'm trying to get at is, when you take this road and you deed it to the township, this roadway will be deeded to the county, and this roadway will be deeded to the county. He doesn't have this many acres anyhow, because that's already been deeded away. So the 10.6 acres here covers this whole thing, because that will have been gone in the deeding of the road. We're drawing this as if it's the whole piece of property, but really, the whole piece of property doesn't include this roadway, that roadway.
Yeah, the law changed from the original zoning.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
The way they do roads now, is roads are deeded to the,
In fee simple, they used to be road right.
it's not, it used to be a right of way. Okay, the right of way used to be there, and you own the land, and it could be zoned whatever, but what it's gonna be is just gonna be.
It's gonna be the road either way, whether it's you gave it as right of way or deed.
But you don't own it, and so if you don't own it, it doesn't appear in these acres.
Right.
Okay. Because once they take that 60-foot strip out of there, and I don't know, I'm assuming it's 60-foot strip.
I'm sure,
But it's gonna go up, and that will be needed.
yeah.
Township kids.
So we can say if we want, but even this, even though they're counted in the acreage, we're gonna have less commercial and less residential acres, because they're gonna eat it up with road.
This road won't be deep because it's already a road right.
Pardon?
The law didn't make it retroactive. If it's a road right of way, it's a road right of way. Anything that comes now.
Correct. Anything comes now, so that this goes away.
So that's deeded, okay.
And it's 290 foot of road would equal that.
So we actually need it, so, that's weird. Oh,
I think it comes through in the plat.
Does it?
I mean, we're talking on it as a big piece of property, but when it actually happens, I don't think it makes a whole big difference.
So do you have other issues? Do you have any other issues regarding this?
No, I don't. You know, like you're showing here, this is as if it's zoned in the square footage and the acreage of it, that's actually wrong.
Yeah, it's the same, yeah, just keeping the same.
But that's still out to the middle, it's switching out to the middle, to the rock, but until you figure out that it's 60-foot wide.
Right, I know, well, we're gonna have less acreage to build on, but I get it.
You're not gonna have that much acreage.
Right, just a matter of the surveyors and making sure that the acreage switch was equal, but you're right. Yeah, well, good.
And they're doing it as if it were done with the old middle of the road.
Right.
Where it's
Yeah,
where you own the property. You don't own that, you own to where what used to be the right of way line used to be.
right, it's just like when we first purchased the land, the Evans family down on Lewis Center Road, their deeds said they owned to the middle of Lewis Center Road, but once they're platted and done.
Yeah.
That's,
That's the way it used to be.
and what was interesting, yeah, now that you said it, it's interesting because I'm paying on a per acreage basis, so
I am paying for ground that I won't use.
Well, but when you buy it, you don't, that goes off of the tax rolls.
Right, but when I buy from the family, I buy the whole acreage. I don't take out, I can't take out right.
You don't have any choice because you're gonna do it to the county.
Right, you gotta take it out, yeah. Okay. That's a good
So
point.
from that standpoint, I don't have a problem. Because the square footage, I think, is gone at the time of the fire.
Well, perhaps at this stage, I can put up with it, but I'm not gonna be okay with it when it comes in for a fine or for.
I mean, because this isn't. for-
Because I'm gonna say that's not 11 acres.
There's not 11 acres, and that's not 11 acres. Yeah. It's going to be less than whatever that is. 1.6. I don't know how many feet that is, but we can figure it out.
You know, I'm not worried about that, it's just.
And we we will address all that when we get to that stage. Again, I think you'll like what we're starting to do on that, but again, that's not.
Well, if it's got the alleys, we'll be good. If it doesn't have the alleys, we won't be good. We'll see how.
Thank you for saying that.
This,
I appreciate it.
Has the county said to you, you gotta give up the land for the roundabouts, 2 roundabouts there?
Have they come to us yet with that?
But I'm
Sure we did.
They will.
I'm sure they're gonna.
And that'll come off of that fee.
Yeah.
There is a problem regarding the stop sign in Shannon,
Which stop sign?
the one that's not there.
The one that's coming out of the Jennings stuff.
Yeah, just show me, but I mean, you know me, I'll be glad to help with anything that we find.
Right down here.
Higher than Shannon.
It's right here on this corner. There.
Pointing that way?
Yep.
There's
I
a
mean, it
stop.
doesn't point that way, it points stop. And where it is the road comes, it's not.
Oh, so they're gravel drive.
It's just put that gravel
So
road.
they
They
put,
put a gravel driveway to the road right of way, which is in the county.
and then they
But-
put a
but-
stop sign there. Did the county probably require them to put a stop
No,
sign because
it-
people were pulling out of there?
Well, there needs to be a stop sign.
Is
There's
there?
a temporary, but it's not a real.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did the same thing when we had our HOA meeting. Everybody said, hey, people were pulling out on the Pyatt Road, wherever, down here, right in front of it, and they're not stopping, so we put a stop sign there until they get their pavement in, and then they have
And
fluted ones to match everything. Yeah.
and that's the way it should be. It's just that it's not a road. That driveway is.
Oh, it's a temporary gravel driveway.
So did did the county give a permit for that driveway?
I don't know, I don't know, with
Because-
Jennings?
Because if there's not a permit, that should not be attached to the road.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they, again, I don't run Jennings,
Because,
thank God.
well,
But I do watch it, so if you're asking us to check with that, I don't know how else Jennings would have a secondary. I bet you the county gave them a temporary permit because otherwise they would have no secondary access for emergency vehicles, fire, or anything else to get in.
Well, they got the one on the railroad tracks.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
well,
I
I'm
don't know.
shocked that the county didn't put a permit for that close to the railroad tracks.
Right. That's why they probably gave them the permit temporary to come out and
But I
attach to
can't
the
see
road.
them allowing that without a stop sign.
Is the stop sign there, you said?
There's no stop sign over the railroad.
No, not the railroad tracks. I was talking about where I think.
There's a temporary one there.
Yeah.
But I don't think the commissioners have put a stop condition there. Because stop conditions have to go through there.
Yeah.
It hasn't been,
I don't know. I know, Jennings and Windsor are doing that. I don't know, you've never talked to Rob or anything, we've never talked to Rob or anything about it. I did hear that they were gonna give him a temporary permit up there. And when we went to the HOA down in our plat, we put a stop sign in temporarily, and I'm sure they put one down on Shanahan, if you're telling me there's one there.
So where did you put one in?
On Jennings ground coming out of their park, where they come into our Pyatt Road in Orange, because they were just coming out of the park.
South.
Pyatt Road south, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
It's the only place that they can get to the park, which is,
okay, but let's get back
Yeah,
to
sorry.
the hearing. So,
I don't have a problem with it because it's overstating how much land they've got in those already.
So it sounds like you actually have a problem.
Pardon?
Sounds like you actually have a problem, not with this,
Yeah.
but when they come in for the next.
Right. When they come for the next one, it's not gonna be that acreage, it's gonna be something less than that acreage,
yes.
most cases.
Yeah, you're right. Because once the roadways and the roundabouts take that acre,
Once that's all taken
you're gonna
out,
have less. The county's gonna take some of our ground.
and that square footage isn't gonna show up in the real plan.
Right. When the plat.
Because once you plat it, that land is gone.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do?
And you have anything else? Okay, at this time, it's open to the public, those speaking for, hearing none, I'm sorry, yes, for, and, those speaking against, hearing none, public comment is concluded. I guess next step is accept the exhibits.
What was the last exhibit?
Okay, the last exhibit is 11. So,
So this would be exhibit 12.
well, so the packet that you got had the DC RPC meeting agenda. This is, well, it's not adopted minutes, but it's minutes. So,
There will be a change, which will. First in this and.
so,
I'm sure Scott appreciates it.
so do you want to first accept the 11 zoning exhibits?
The whole packet can be exhibit 12.
Okay, so, but do you want to make this a separate one?
We should. Because that one will become hopefully something like the real minutes. But then we're gonna have to accept the real minutes to get it in. And we change the exhibits or make it a later exhibit, which says that later exhibit takes the place of exhibit 13.
But the hearing will be closed at that point in time. No, we need to do that.
This hearing will be closed. The other one will come up at some point.
Oh, you mean when they come in for,
So the real minutes of that hearing will show up.
okay.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the, exhibits, the applicant's application for BDC case 16-001 as the exhibit 12, with later exhibits taking the place of earlier exhibits,
Taking precedence.
taking precedent over earlier exhibits.
Second, moved by trustee Fuller, seconded by the chair. Discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Trustee Muller?
Yes. And then I make a motion that we accept the
This is
draft minutes for the PGC case 16-001 and the draft minutes from the RPC meeting from April, no, can't be April 24th.
Thursday.
Okay, dated April 24th, 2025, page 9 and page 10,
And this is-
as exhibit 13, and with, later exhibits taken precedent over earlier exhibits. So
Second, discussion and, as we were saying, it's PCC 16-001, amendment 4.
okay.
Further discussion, please call roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Okay, so the last one was, this was 12.
12 is the accepting all as packet,
Okay.
which is exhibits 1 through 11 from PCC.
Okay.
Okay, now, do we need to, I don't. So do we have proof of publication for this hearing?
I would be.
But it was published, right?
I don't know. Please, yes, I publicly,
So, maybe we need at least a slip to make that an exhibit.
double check. I'm sure I did. I did send one to,
Really, it should have been the first exhibit rather than that.
But it's not taking precedent over anything else, so it's worried about.
no, I'm thinking of the one that's in May. I don't believe this was published. Unless this was the one that she put on the, well, this is the one that she put on the website, I believe.
So this is,
There's one that she put on the website, and the social media.
so let's check to make sure that is one.
This one, I don't believe this one went in the paper, but I think this is one we put on the website now.
I know the zoning commission side of it was published.
Yeah, the law changed from the time.
Yeah.
That was.
It just changed the state law that we can advertise on a social media or a website,
Yeah.
and you don't have to go to the newspaper.
Just
Go to the
recently.
newspaper.
Yeah, right, I know.
Same change we used to do meetings.
So the state law's catching up.
Oh, that's what changed.
I think part of that.
So it just changed in the last few weeks?
It was passed at the end of last, January 3rd, I think, was when the governor signed it, so it took effect. April 3rd?
And it's very important that we get this in the minutes.
It makes sense to check it with Administrator Hack.
It's on the agenda, of course, on the website, on your township.
Oh, it's on the website.
I'm certain, so, yeah.
What's on the calendar is a 7 PM Berlin Township Board of Trustees public hearing.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
people what it is.
Berlin Township Board of Trustees will hold a meeting for a purpose of public hearing April 28, 2025, 7 PM, Berlin Township Hall located 3271 Cheshire Road, Delaware, Ohio, 43015, to amend and rezone an approved preliminary development plan designated BZC 10001, amendment number 4, filed by Evans Farm LLC, Velocinius Development LLC, PO Box 278, Lewis Center,
So we should print that and then we can consider it.
Just turn the page. Whatever you want.
That's about the NCAA meets. Can be Zoom.
Yes. So there's certain things you can do it on and not have to do all. There are some things you have to do. I have read the whole thing.
I know, trustees can't do this anymore.
Can't do it anymore.
You know, they sunset it.
So I hate lawyers. I know I am one. I know I am one. I have a law degree, but I just hate the way they keep complicating life. Oh. How's it going, Ken? You getting ready?
Taking my classes.
Excited about it? Good, good. I'm
Be here before you know it. So it'll be here before you know it, doesn't seem like it.
I go to a conference in May.
And see, I'm not from around here, Bruce. It seemed like an awful long time between
So,
the
right,
thing and then moving.
But it's on the second,
it's a,
it's on the second page, do you want just the 2 pages?
I just want it to be clear what it was published on the website, that's all. Okay, so do you want to make a motion to accept that as things? No.
yeah, that is,
Yeah, because I knew March 19th of 2024.
right. The bottom line was they should change that law too. Because that just seems way too,
I found laws don't have to make sense, we just have to have the votes.
but I mean, it just seems like once you get in, you should roll up sleeves and get in and not sit there. I know,
It is what it is.
it is, and we're not gonna change.
Is that 2, 4, 6 years? 4.
So I'll be there till 2029. Through 2029 for the most part.
33, right? You're gonna stay. Good, good.
It's sad.
Make a motion that we accept exhibit 14, which is a copy of the news list for Township. And this proof of publication this one? No, that's not right. That's the here, I'll make sure.
So that's on it. Bottom of the second page.
This is there, at the bottom of page 2. With the Berlin Township Board of Trustees notice of public hearing dated 4/16 of 2025. Copy of which is attached. And the development plan amendment number BZC 10-001, amendment number 4. So moved.
Second. Moved by trustee Board, second by the chair, discussion, please call roll.
Trustee Bullard,
Yes,
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
that's exhibit 14. Okay, now we've got the. And I make a motion that, we approve BCC case 16-001, amendment 4, and all 14 exhibits with later exhibits taking precedent over earlier exhibits. So moved.
Second. Moved by trustee Board, second by the chair, discussion. Please call roll.
trustee Bullard,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien.
Yes. Hearings, anything else? Hearing is closed. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Yes, I would like to thank the administrator for that put together this really helps make the meeting go much quicker.
Not only quicker, but it also makes it so we're effective in more timely manner. I think we always did well, but it took multiple meetings to accomplish what can be done in a quicker period of time. So I concur.
And with that, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second. Moved by trustee Board, seconded by chair, discussion. No. Please call roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Bullard.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Look forward to learning the next one.
Thank you, Judge. Should see you.
Hopefully.
Thank you, guys.
Fiscal officer Jordan, can you turn the,
Oh, yes, yes.